All right, welcome back, bowling fans. Thanks for being patient during our break there, getting ready to re-oil, get all lanes set. We are now in our bracket match play portion here of the U12 Junior Golds, live from Stardust Lane on Bowl TV in Addison, Illinois. Ladies first, top 8 on the ladies side. Annalise O'Brien, Amanda Noyakis, Kaylee Chanel, Christina Cato, Aaliyah Elaine, Laura Kurt, Jordan Ship, and Piper Reams. And on the boys' side, our final 8, Spencer Robards, Nolan Blessing, Brandon Bonta, Manuel Royce, Jaden Nunn, Cameron Hurwitz, Nicholas Forano, and Jordan Malott. Jordan got in by 1 pin over Kirk Mall. So great showing for the other competitors who made the top 24 on the boys' side, top 16 on ladies. They're all guaranteed, it looks like $300 into their scholarship fund. We'll talk more about the payouts throughout the broadcast here. So we're into our opening bracket play. This is the 1 versus 8 seed on the boys' side. And the 1 versus 8 seed on the girls' side as well. This is 2-game total pin elimination, double elimination bracket. We're going to have 2 rounds today, one right after the other. There might be a little break in between as we get the rest of the house cut up to where we're at on the left side of your screen.
Ernie, please go to the office. Ernie, please go to the office.
Full standings of the final U12s up until the final 8 are available at juniorgold.bowl.com. You can see where your favorite bowler may have finished. While you're in there, take a look at all the different states and cities that these bowlers have come from all over the country and Puerto Rico. $193 total boys in the U12, 126 total girls competed. $26,150 in scholarship funds will be distributed here today and tomorrow. 7th and 8th plates, $500 apiece. This is on the boys' side first. 5th and 6th, $1,000 apiece. 3rd and 4th, $1,250. 2nd, $1,500. First, $2,000. The boys had a few more entries than the ladies, so their prize fund's just a touch higher. But that's fantastic. If you think about it, $2,000 first place prize into your scholarship fund. On the girls' side, $500 for 7th and 8th, $600 for 5th and 6th, $750 for finish 3rd or 4th, $1,250 for 2nd, $1,500 for 1st on the girls' division. So over $26,000 in scholarship funds for the U12 groups. As we mentioned earlier in the broadcast this morning, $275,000 total scholarship funds will be awarded this weekend here at Stardust Lanes in Addison, Illinois. As you might have surmised, Jordan Malott is the son of Wes Malott, and he'll be joining us in the booth for this opening match here. The 1 versus 8 seeds on both our cameras on the boys and the girls U12. So practice is complete, and it is time to get down to business. So again, this is double elimination. Winners stay in the winner's bracket. Losers drop down into the other side of the bracket. And the 2 bracket winners will meet tomorrow on CBS Sports.
Are you guys ready to bowl? Spectators, parents, and friends, let's give these guys a round of applause as they begin their double elimination match play.
Got quite a crowd down here now because the rest of the house is not bowling yet. They just finished the older age groups. These youngsters have been done for a couple hours, so we're getting them started first. And we've got everybody in the center down here watching now. So it looks like our top seed, Spencer Robards, will start in this match against Jordan Malott. And on the ladies' side, I believe they're trying to figure out who's going to start for. Looks like Annalise O'Brien will start for the ladies. So welcome back, Wes Malott.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
You get the ringside seat to watch Jordan in this opening match.
Best seat in the house.
I'm guessing you guys weren't sure he was even going to make the top 8 a couple hours ago.
Yeah, no. Obviously, you guys saw that started off real strong with 222 and then kind of got in a little bit of trouble and just 160, 160, 160, and goes to show he got lucky because he missed a 10 pin in the 10th that last game that I thought was going to cost him, and he was very fortunate to hang on and catch that top 8 spot.
He had a whole pin to spare to make the top 8.
You know, it's crazy if you look at the scores. Him and the kid he beat, I forgot his name. David O'Sullivan's working with him, I know that.
Kirk Mall.
Yeah, if you look at their scores day to day, the first day he beat Jordan by 1 pin. The second day, Jordan beat him by 1 pin. Now they're tied. Then the third day, Jordan beat him by 7. And today he beat Jordan by 6 for Jordan to lead by 1.
That's
kind of crazy.
Pretty evenly matched then.
For 4 different lane patterns, and for that to happen and the scores to be within 10 pins for a 4-game series it's incredible because they really don't even throw it that much alike, I don't think. But
opening shots for Annalise and Piper. Annalise spares and Piper misses a single pin. So opening shot now for Jordan. What did you guys talk about during practice on how he should kind of go after this pattern here?
Well, the main thing is the first shot he threw, he laid the ball down probably about 27. I said, dude, you got to move right a little bit, create a hook spot to the right. And then with about a minute and a half, I said, all right, now get lined up. Well, he didn't really understand what I was talking about, so I called him back after practice and said, hey, those shots that we were throwing in practice were just trying to set the lane up for us. Now, let's move back left. Let's get in your comfort zone, and let's go. This isn't a 7-game match. It's a 2-game match, so we can't be playing around really trying to set the lanes up. We don't have enough time. So, few shots out there. Luckily, there's only 2. Andy's his only righty on the pair, so he can do, he's his own enemy here. Build him up a little bit and then move left and try and get on top, and that IQ's looking pretty good right now.
Opens with a double against young Spencer, who led the field by 74 pins.
Spencer really just, to me, watching him all week, just stayed out of any big trouble. Didn't see a whole lot of real big scores, but I didn't see any 120 games out of him like I did others. So I think that's and that's the key to this tournament with these demanding lane conditions. As I've said it earlier, this is, to me, to these kids, this is like our U.S. Open. Stay out of trouble. Don't dig yourself too big of a hole you can't get out of, and let things happen. Eventually, everybody will come to you. The cream will rise. And that's exactly what he did.
Spencer out of Springfield, Missouri. Jordan, of course, out of Austin, Texas.
Pflugerville, to be exact.
Pflugerville.
Sorry. We just put Austin. That's
Pfluger
the main
with a
town.
P,
So.
right?
Yes, sir. Silent P.
Annalise out of Ball Ground, Georgia. And Piper Reams out of Hayesville, Kansas. The interesting matchup to me, there was, 123 girls from all over the country. Our 4-5 matchup, Kristen and Aaliyah, they're both from Mooresville, North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
So I'm guessing they've bowled each other before. And they make it to
Probably.
Chicago and they bowl each other again. Spencer strikes his second 7-pin there. Spare strike for Annalise. Annalise led on the ladies' side. Let's see, where'd my sheet go? Here we go. By 118 pins. So Annalise had a nice lead coming into the final 4 games today and held on to that. And she is now bowling Piper Reams, the 1-8 matchup.
Something else on the boys' scores, me obviously really keeping track of those, is seeing how close how bunched up they were from like 4th to 9th. I thought was really good to see from these young athletes.
Yeah, 70 pins is where it finished up there between 4th and 9th.
And that can go one way or the other in one game,
Oh, yeah.
especially
Absolutely.
on this.
The rest of our finishers on the boys' side: 9th, Kirk Mall, Nate Purchase, Alberto Bernal, Aiden D'Souza, Edgar Burgos, CJ Petrin, Angelo Biondo, Connor Schluter, Maurice Wynn, Matthew Medlane, Brady Kaufman, Brandon Bone, Anthony Mastriani, Alexander Horton, John Banfield, and Logan Reed. And they all are receiving $300 into their scholarship fund for a top 24 finish here this week.
Congratulations, guys. Well deserved.
Very nice.
Jordan got a little firm, 2-4-8-10. Been one of his battles all week. 71 there. Piper covering up 1-3-6-9. Covered 3. That's very, very important right there. Something we've been talking about all week. Get count.
Yeah.
Count.
On a double
Don't give away
especially.
pins. Did you tell these guys what pattern we're bowling on?
I don't even know what pattern we're bowling on. They only told the kids in the players meeting before we started, so it didn't get publicized very far, actually.
We are now playing. Well, look, obviously the first 3 rounds we had. See if I can remember. Atlanta was the medium. Tokyo was the long, which is 43 feet. Atlanta's 38. And then the short was 35 feet. I want to say that was Seoul.
I heard London
No.
this morning was one of them, too. I'm not sure which one
Seoul
that was.
is 39. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't understand these, or I don't know my WTBA patterns a little bit better. But anyhow, this morning they bowled on 44 feet. And then now we're bowling on Athens of 40 feet. This is for the U12 division.
So giving all these kids quite a variety of patterns to test their skill on.
You know, with the patterns, I was curious how they do it. Do they draw them? Do they do this? Do they do that? Because obviously a short pattern and a long pattern can favor one style of player better than the other. But seeing what I've seen, this is kind of my first real experience seeing this event. And I think Neil Strimmel and the guys at Kegel have done a pretty darn good job of selecting patterns. Even the long earlier this morning, I thought, you had guys playing kind of up 5, so even the straighter guys did pretty good. So it really didn't, I don't think they favored, one super drastically more than the other.
It's got to be kind of tough when you got to put out 4 or 5 different patterns. I think they're actually going to use 5 total by the time we get done. I thought I heard earlier, but you don't want to have to travel an event with, a whole carload of bowling balls. So you got to kind of make them somewhat similar but different, right? So that you can use some of the same equipment.
To some extent, absolutely.
Make service adjustments and tweak things a little bit.
One of the key things I look when I go to a tournament, I'm looking at the lane, the length of the pattern, the oil, the volume of the oil, and lane service mainly. Those are the 3 big things that are going to dictate what bowling balls I might want to take to a tournament. And at least getting up with throwing a double.
A little bit of emotion there, a little hand slap.
Yep. We got 2 game total pin matches here. Double elimination.
And one thing I don't have on my sheet is where are U12? But how old is Jordan? Is he 11? 12?
Jordan is 11, so he has this year and next year in the U12. I believe I've overheard Spencer. I heard he finished 3rd last year. He was 11 at that time, so now he's 12. This is his last year. He'll be moving up to the U15 next year. That's what I've heard. I'm not 100%, but that's rumor has it.
Because I don't know the ages of all our finalists here, but I'm sure some of them look to be maybe 9 or 10 even, which is pretty amazing to be at this level at that age, competing on this stage.
Yep. It's exactly what I posted on my personal Facebook page. Is I was extremely proud of Jordan. This is really his first time on, in this atmosphere of this magnitude. Sure, he's bowled these type of formats, but he doesn't bowl on these type of patterns hardly at all. We just don't have them that much around our home. But extremely proud of how he handled himself. He was obviously pretty upset with how he finished, but we got lucky, and here we are in the finals, and there he is missing another spare, which is so critical. And you see he's a little upset about that. And, that makes me proud too, because if he's not upset about that means he doesn't care, and he knows that he just kind of gave away 11 free pins there. So
he needs to take advantage of this second opportunity here, not thinking he made the cut to try to make a run at that title. But he's still got some work to do. We got a game and a half yet to go. 2-game total pins here versus Spencer Robars. Annalise O'Brien opening up an early lead over Piper Reams. What's your biggest comeback? Do you remember in a 2-game match? Do you ever remember how many pins?
I know my biggest defeat, unfortunately. I was at the Masters. It's 3-game total pins, and I remember leading Walter Ray by like 60 pins going into the last game, and he shot like 260 or 270. They were pretty hard, and I got a little nervous, got a little tense, and I think I shot 180 or 190 and lost. So it's not over till it's over.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's going to be one of the things Jordan and I have a conversation about probably at one point is, if you get ahead, keep the gas pedal down. But if you get behind, remember, it's harder to throw strikes when you're ahead than it is when you're behind, because you have nothing to lose at that point.
Spencer with the first good break here in this match, crossing over. He's got a pretty interesting approach. He starts about 8 or 10 inches off the back of the approach. On these flat surfaces here, there's a laminate floor behind the main approach. So he gets a little bit extra head start. 6 steps. Try to get his power, I guess it is, from those steps as he goes after this. 2-handed lefty.
Sure. That's where he generates his ball speed from, is his legs.
That was a good-looking shot for Annalise. That was pure right off her hand. That was really nice.
But as you see there, very good sportsmanship from Piper. Giving her 5. I've seen that all week. I can't express it enough. Oh. Out of trouble. 10-pin for Spencer there. Keeps the match pretty close. I think we're going to have a good match here.
I think it's going to stay close all the way to the end.
I believe so too.
Piper over here on the lady side, she just looks a little nervous yet. Hopefully she can relax and start making some good shots. She made the top 8. Now it's time to make some more quality shots and try to advance in the winner's bracket. Give you an idea on how much Annalise dominated this U12 ladies side. She's 310 pins ahead of Piper in the 16 games of qualifying. That's almost 20 a game. Wow.
And do you have the total score, average, just total?
Yeah, 2588 versus 2898.
So 400 under, basically, which is still pretty strong for a U12 kid on these demanding conditions. You can look in some of the U20, U15, and those scores are definitely up there.
Yeah, I don't ever want to say what I think I might shoot on these patterns, because I guarantee some of these youngsters would beat me with ease. But I think this goes to show how the evolution of the game is, where these younger bowlers are bowling on these sports shots more often. I don't know if I was talking to you earlier that one of the youngsters that came in this morning, he knew what the pattern was. He knew what balls to go grab. He was making his own service adjustments. He's under 12 years old. He was almost excited to hear what the pattern was this morning. He's like, "Oh, I got this."
Yep.
Nick Verano is bowling to the right of us. Nick is bowling against Nolan Blessing over on 77 and 78.
Nope, they were tied through 9. Jaden has a 6-8 split and opened up. So 146. Pretty close match.
Jaden and Manuel going in the 10th frame. Manuel can mark and take a little bit of a lead going to game 2. Nick Verano is down. Ooh, looks like possibly 50 going in the 10th frame. Anthony Mastriani finished 21st. He bowled this morning to 4 games. If you'd like to go watch the archive, all the kids were on a camera pair at one point this morning, so you can check that out at your leisure. We went through the final finishers on the boys' side. Let's go down the girls real quick. All these players also received $300 in their scholarship fund. Jennifer Laredo, Elizabeth Kutya, Molly Marshall, Hannah Roars, April Calatrava, Kiernan Polk, Josie Vaughn, and Lindsay Ennis are 9 through 16 finishers for the U12 girls here this week.
Stepped away there, give Jordan a little pep talk, let him know everything's all right. Over here with our girls, not sure if you mentioned it, Annalise 200 even. Piper 155, as you guys can probably see on the scores above. So 45-pin lead there. And we're going to have probably 11-pin lead. Yep. Manuel over Jaden. 157 to 146. Spencer covering up a spare, staying clean. That's what it's about.
We've got this nice big beam right next to us that's kind of obstructing the view to look at the rest of the scores. But I'm sure you've got some fans posting on their Facebook pages. You can keep track of a few others if you'd like.
Getting it the hard way.
Yeah, nice 310 conversion. That's got to bring a smile, doesn't it? Maybe later.
Ooh, tripped in the 6-8.
All right, Annalise opens up game number 2 with a spare, and she has a 45-pin lead after game number 1, and there's 2 game total pins. Nice cover for Jordan.
He's getting a little quick, pulling it down, causing him to miss left. Very, very common, very normal. Get him to slow down and let his hand, let his magic work. See if he calms down a little bit. I looked a little better.
Yeah, that's another great thing for these kids to learn, because every tournament has, multiple aspects. Your qualifying is one thing, right? I'm sure you bowled with lots of guys that can qualify like crazy, put up huge numbers. Once you get to head-to-head match play, it's a totally different animal.
Totally different. That's
the mental side comes in, and
oh man, that's what I try and teach these kids is trouble.
Just enough.
Even me going through, coming up through the regional tour, the national tour, and all the different formats that we play on, and especially back in the match play. I mean, you got to set goals. First, you got to make the first cut. Oh, no. Well, you got to make the first cut. Sorry. Getting a little emotional over here. And then, you got to make your next cut, and you got to learn from that. There's stepping stones there, learning curves. So
Sure.
It's all part of it.
First little chink in the armor for Annalise, opening with a big split in the second frame. A double here could be really big. All right, make this spare for Piper, and she can cut into that lead pretty quick early on. Cameron Hurwitz is just a bit too far away. And Nolan and Nick have already started game number 2, and I cannot see their scores either. I apologize for that. We're just far enough away I can't make that out. All right, a big spare for Piper. Made up 17 pins in just 2 frames.
Spencer opens up in the 10th with a bucket. That's a very difficult spare. So we have 170, 144, 26-pin lead for Spencer.
In the latest match, we've already seen Piper take 17 pins out of the lead, and then Annalise gets up there and throws a double right at her after that open frame. Big shot for Piper. Look, much more relaxed arm swing. Leaves a 10 pin. Jaden and Manuel are 1 pin difference after the first game.
Really tight match there.
No, I forget these scores tally up there. 1 pin difference now, 2 frames into this game number 2. Gotta get used to these scores again. They're a little bit different everywhere we go.
Come on. Sometimes all you can do is laugh. So hard to commit, make the adjustment, make a great shot, and then have something like that happen. But
Stone 9. Yeah, that's always rough.
It's all part of it. It all evens out, as someone told me once before.
I don't know if everybody ever done the bowling math on how many stone 9s you get, or the trip, the bucket you crumble. I'm guessing the 9 pin wins out.
Piper missed that 10 pin. Now sparing the 3. Little right.
Annalise up now in the 5th frame after throwing a strike on each lane her last attempt. Let's see what she does here. Pretty loose arm swing.
Yep, smooth shot there. Over there on 73 and 4, Manuel. Well, Jaden actually opened in the 3rd frame, missed that 7 pin. And then Manuel got up and packed 2 strikes for a double to take the lead. And now Jaden leaves the 1-2-8 and takes the 2 only on the spare, so can change quickly.
And I'm just too old to see down one more pair. If they were just a little bit bigger monitors, I could see them, but I don't want to give you the wrong score in Alea's match down there. It looks like there's about 20 pins difference going into the 7th frame. So another opportunity for young Piper Reams to get up here in her 6th and 7th frame after an open for Annalise to try to take another little bit of that lead away. Or she was down 45 coming in. 55, I'm sorry.
I told Jordan to move 1 left off of that solid 9-pin. See if he can keep his hand clean. It looked pretty good to me.
He got through that pretty solid.
Yep.
That
Did get a
ball-
handful, though, but he got
Yes.
through it cleaner.
And Manuel off to the right of us after that double leaves a washout now, so that match is still staying pretty close.
Oof. Looking pretty good. Oh,
Jeez. Tough break. Really good shot there.
it's all touch. So you go a little high and then you gas it up a little bit, get it down the lane, and it gets down there real quick on these patterns. 2, 4, 8, 10 for Jordan. So
As you mentioned, they didn't get a lot of time to break them down. It's just 2 on a pair. They just finished oiling before they started, so the pattern hasn't really set. There's been multiple patterns put down in the center this week, so it's going to be tight. And they just got to keep making quality shots, make the spares. We saw back-to-back opens now for Piper, and Annalise can get up here and pretty much lock this match up. She was up 55 coming in. Max score for Piper 193. That means Annalise would only need 139 to shut her out. She's on a 157 pace, so it's definitely not over, but stay clean and Annalise can wrap up this opening match. Let's see how she does here in the 8th frame now on lane 71. A little bit high, breaks up the split, leaves just a 4-7. So Manuel Royce now has an 18-pin lead going into the 7th frame versus Jaden Nunn. Manuel out of Puerto Rico, Jaden out of Flint, Michigan. Spencer really taking his time on this 4-7. I think he realizes it's a big spare. Nicely done.
Spencer going a little high, leaving a 10 pin, but leaving something he can spare. That's, again, key. Piper pretty much needs to strike out here, unfortunately.
Yeah, all Annalise needs to do now is just get 5 on each of the next couple of first shots, and she wraps this one up mathematically. There's not a whole lot Piper can do, unfortunately. But she's still alive in the tournament. This is double elimination match play. So just because you don't make this first round, I mean, there's 4 matches, and it means there's going to be 4 winners, 4 losers. But they're still competing. They're going to move on to the next round to try to stay alive in this event. So you got to get, and we're starting up, I believe, pretty much right away. I think the other groups are ready to start now. The rest of the center's oiled. So there'll be a very short delay. So win or lose, you got to be ready to show up again here in just a couple minutes. And that's where you need to have that really short bowling memory here down in the loser's bracket. Forget about your last round and just go against your opponent that's on the same pair as you.
Didn't like it off his hand. Got away with it.
And if anybody had before 2:30 in the Will Jordan Smile Pool, you have now been eliminated from that jackpot. We're going to see one. Thought maybe that Brooklyn would have got a little smirk out of him, but now he's still all business, huh?
No, he's pretty disgusted right now. That was a little better, but still grabs. Obviously, the middle of the lane, it's just not opened up enough there, and I wish I could tell him to move right and go with something a little stronger, but I just know he has zero confidence in that, and we'll have a little conversation after this shot here and see what he wants to do. But very, very difficult, because whatever you do, you got to have confidence in it. You got to commit, and obviously he's not liking that so much. Here he comes. So just a second.
Yes, this is double elimination. They will not be on the same pairs. There is a bracket here that you might be able to find at juniorgold.bowl.com if you'd like to see the bracket. I'm not 100% sure it's posted there or not. I've got my special copy to keep track of things here in front of us on our feature pairs. But things get shuffled around, so our next match actually is going to be the losers of the match 3 and 4, which was the other 2 matches going on. Brandon, Kim, and Nolan and Nicholas on the boys' side. On the ladies' side, it's Amanda and Jordan, or Katie and Lara. So 160 for Annalise, and she will advance in this winner's bracket on the U12 girls' side. And Annalise will bowl the winner of Christina Cahill and Alea Aline. So Wes, as a parent, that's maybe a tougher question here. What does it feel like sitting back here watching your son? You can't throw the ball for him. You just give him the most guidance you can and learnings, but how does it feel to sit here and watch?
Very, very difficult. I enjoy it because I'm able to use the knowledge that I've learned and I'm able to pass it on. But from a parent, I mean, you hate to see your kids fail, but at the same time, you know that you have to fail before you can, figure it out and win. I mean, you have to lose before you can win. That's the only way you're going to be successful, in my opinion. You can't win them all. As I tell kids all the time, I mean, I have 10 national titles. I've bowled probably over 300 events, so my ratio is not very good. But I'm one of the fortunate ones that have a pretty good career in 300 tournaments to win 10 titles. So, just trying to let these kids know, and it's very difficult at 10, 11, 12 years old for these kids to understand And Jordan, you hurt for him because like I said, Jordan missed the 10 pin the 10th frame of the last game and the round before this, and he thought he had lost out, didn't make the cut, and he came to me pretty much in tears, and it's very, very hard to try and take that, and I understand you want to comfort him and make him feel good, but at the same time, from an athlete standpoint, you got to find a way to make you focus more,
Sure.
and make you better. And that's so hard for these kids to understand and grasp. And I know it'll come with time, but it's also very hard as a parent trying to teach your kids that part of life, and especially being an athlete, and the mental game of it is so hard. And so that part of it's very, very difficult.
And as we're talking, we just see Spencer give him an opportunity to get right back in this match after missing a single pin and then a 6-8 split. So Jordan was down 26.
And he's trying.
And he's got an opportunity to get up and throw 2 quick strikes and put some pressure on Spencer to let him know that he's ready to play. And back on your numbers there, I think I read a few times we've shared that Walter Ray has won like 4.8% of the tournaments he's entered. I think was the number I heard somewhere.
Winningest guy of all time.
Yeah, so what does that tell you? I mean, if you're 1 out of 30, he's 5%, you're 3%. That's not, but I mean, those are, when you look at it that way, it's some staggering numbers. The number of events you guys bowl, and you can't all win every week. And there's some great bowlers out there on every level.
Oh yeah.
So learning how to to lose is definitely a part of the game. All right, good spare.
So as you see there, I told Jordan, going left isn't going to work. You miss left, it's going to hook more. They just haven't developed enough and blended out enough. So I said, you need to move right. I don't know if you need to go to the uproar. I'm scared to go to the uproar because I think it's going to be too clean. We have the more of a label drilling, the core laid down, so it's not going to hook a whole lot down lane, which is good, but not really having thrown it and knowing where to go. But at this point, I'm about to tell him to go to the uproar, and we're going to take a chance because that's about the only chance we have of winning this match. So, that's just all touch, all feel, and bowling on these patterns, having confidence and moving right and doing all that. I know I didn't learn it at 11 years old, and I still have issues with doing it sometimes. So it's a hard thing to do.
We got the report in the chat that Mr. Verano wins his match. Over on the boys' side, it looks like Jaden Nunn needed a double in the 10th, and he leaves a 4-pin his first shot. So Manuel will advance over Jaden in their first round bracket. Great match. Back and forth the whole way. You hear the crowd behind us. Great crowd watching that match. Nice round of applause there. Great stuff.
A little tricky spare here for Spencer. I would hope he throws his strike ball, and he does. Hooks at it. And unfortunate there. That's a tough one. The way I like to shoot at it is, for me, it'd be the 2-5-7. I would hook at it, hopefully catch the left side of the 2, ball, take out the 2 and the 7, and the 2-pin take out the 5-pin. So he had the right idea. Just unfortunate to get that ball to cut over enough and cover it up. So this match became pretty close. I still told Jordan, I said, we're kind of in a do or die here. I think the IQ is just too jerky off the end of the pattern. I'm going to try and go to the uproar, smooth it out a little bit, and see if we can make something happen. It's a pretty good shot, I think. Yep.
Yeah, one of the best shots of the match for Spencer there. He knew it off his hand. He got it right where he wanted to. So 105 in the 7th for Spencer Robarge. And Jordan Malott now getting up with 94 in the 6th, spare in the 7th. He was down 26 pins starting this game. 2-game total pins. Looked much smoother all the way down there. Good call, Dad.
So possible 195 for Spencer, 204 for Jordan. It's only 9 pins there, but if he can manage to get this one, put some pressure on Spencer, you never know what happens. He's pretty mazy at making ball changes. I know that. I get to watch it. A little left, and close.
Spencer yet to strike on this right lane where he needs to get up in the 9th. And Jordan has actually struck the last 3 shots where he finishes on the right lane. We'll see how that plays out here as we wrap things up in this opening match between these 2 young athletes.
Got to cover the 4-pin. Coming out of his shoes. Looks like Dad hooking at it. Been doing that a lot more since my knee surgery, and I think he's been watching, and I hope he doesn't create a habit of doing that all the time, especially on these conditions. We need to learn to start going straighter at those, but right now he's got confidence in doing that, and I'm not going to nowhere dare go ask him to change it.
Yeah, probably not right now.
No, not at this point. Maybe when we get home.
So for the most part, are you just throw your normal ball that spares, or are you a plastic hard and straight, or does it all just kind of depend on where you're at and how the pattern's playing?
It depends. It's kind of funny. That's a pretty good shot too, I think. Very nice.
Ooh.
So Clara Guerrero and myself, we did some clinics again for this event, and we got together before putting together the presentation, and went over some spares, what we hook at, what we don't. She goes straight at everything. Every single pin she goes straight at. But that's what she was taught at Wichita. I mean, they just practice spares, which is great. But for me, if I leave a single pin and it's a head pin, a 2-pin, a 5-pin, an 8-pin, it doesn't really matter what pattern I'm bowling on, I'm going to hook at it. And the reason being for that, little left, but it checked up. Very nice shot. The reason being for why I'm going to hook at those pins, I mean, if you notice, that's basically about where, if I throw a strike shot, that's where the ball's traveling, to those pins. And I'm already in that part of the lane. I know what that part of the lane's doing. I'm already throwing the ball that way. Why am I going to change the way I release the ball, go to a different part of the lane? I mean, even if it's straight, why am I going to go to a different part of the lane, change my release to shoot it? I'm confident that in hooking at it, I know what that part of the lane's doing, and I'm going to stay there. As I said, I've been hooking at more 4 and 7 pins than I probably ever have since my knee surgery, just because it's real hard. It was hard to get into that shot, with the lack of strength and whatever pain I was going through with my left knee shooting those spares. So, it was easier to hook at them, and I've just kind of stuck with that. And I mean, I've done pretty well. I haven't missed a whole lot of those spares. So, but talking with Clara, she's like, and the funny thing is 3, 6, 9, 10. You will never catch me hook at that spare unless there's hook to the right and they're really slick. Because otherwise, I'm either going to chop the 3-9 off, or I'm going to take the 3-9-10 or something. I mean, my chances of sparing that are very, very slim. So I think my chances of pin count and making the spare are better going straight at it. And you talk to Clara, she hooks at it every time.
Well, it's interesting, though. There's like just 2 pretty solid schools of thought. You got one or the other. There's not a lot of people that mix them up. So I'm just always curious to understand the thought process. They both make sense, I guess, but it's comfort as well. Spencer will advance. Jordan will go down to lanes 81 and 82, and he will bowl Jaden Nunn this next round.
Okay.
And depending on, we do plan on starting the other 2 streams all at the same time, so we'll have 3 going. The U20s, the U16, and another round of the U12s here this afternoon. We have not heard the announcement yet from the tournament staff on how long before the next round starts, so just hang on. Find out if we're going to stay live or if we're taking a break. I don't know that answer. Wes, we do appreciate you sitting in and sharing some insight and watching your son bowl. And good luck the rest of the tournament.
Thank you, Craig. Glad we could, I know it's a lot about talking about Jordan, my son, and stuff, but it's experiences that I have, and I'm glad to share them with you guys, and hopefully you can learn a little bit from, me learning how to work with my son and stuff like that. And, I know it's a lot about that. I know you hear about it. It's not, sure, I'm proud of him, but I'm not trying to brag on him. I'm trying to help everybody and express my knowledge or extend my knowledge to whoever and everyone I can to make this a better game, better sport, and that's what it's all about. So thanks for having me.
Anytime.
Look forward to being back. I'm sure you guys will probably catch me tomorrow a little bit. Even if Jordan happens to lose out, we'll be up here, and we'll talk to you then.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
Wes Mlott from Storm, 10-time national titleist, joining us for some coverage there, watching young Jordan, his son, bowl that opening round. Jordan will be knocked down in the loser's bracket, moving to the high end of the house. So headed this direction, I believe we're going to have Nick Verano, and we need to, let's see, it looks like Brandon Bonto. And let's find out who's coming on ladies' side. We're still waiting for our announcement on when the next round is going to start. We were scheduled to pretty much go back to back. So just hang on. Stick with us there. Don't go away. We are watching U12 Junior Gold action live from Chicago, Illinois. Stardust Lanes and Addison here. And we will also be covering the U16 and the U20s all simultaneously. You can open up all three streams at once and enjoy some fantastic coverage across this 84-lane center. So we're getting ready now for our second round of matches. We've got young Nolan Blessing versus Brandon Bonta. Brandon's out of Wichita, Nolan out of Cincinnati. Nolan qualified second, Brandon qualified third. And on the girls' side, Lara Kurt, who qualified sixth, bowling against Jordan Ship, who qualified seventh. And we have another guest in the booth for this round from Storm Bowling, Mr. Chris Schlemmer. Welcome, Chris.
Hey, thanks. How's it going?
You know, I tell you what, I'm having fun. A chance to get out here and showcase these young bowlers here. That's pretty awesome.
I tell you what, the standing back there talking to different kids and parents when they walk by, but this is the under 12. Holy cow! These kids. Some of us are standing back there going, they're way better than what we were.
This is called job security for you for the next 20 plus years, because these kids are going to be bowling for a long time.
It's awesome. I tell you what, it's fabulous to see that the talent level some of these kids have.
TV show taping tomorrow beginning at 2 p.m. Shows the 2, 5, and 7 for our finals in each of our divisions. Seating will be on a first-come, first-served basis, and people will be left out of the show, so make sure you're here on time. Spectators and guests, let's give these finalists a round of applause as they begin round 2 of their double elimination match play competition. Bowlers, your lane time for scoring, good luck, and good bowling.
So this is an elimination match now here. We'll call it this round 2 of our bracket play. And it looks like Brandon is going to start things out.
Yeah, and watching the kids here, it's, Jordan Malott just came off this pair. Wes's son, I know Wes was just in the booth with you. And some of these kids, again, we forget that they, as good as they throw, we forget that they're just kids. Like, they haven't experienced a lot of different tournament stuff. And I know some of these kids practice a lot on the sport conditions and the flatter patterns, but it's hard to say, hey, this kid's only 10 years old or 11 years old. It's amazing.
Or even younger. It's pretty,
or younger, yeah.
Pretty amazing to see this young talent. How about this youngster here, Mr. Nolan Blessing? We watched him. He threw the last 6 at the end of qualifying there to jump up at the number 2 spot.
Oh, awesome.
He had a great group of fans back here. It sounds like they're still with us. A lot of people supporting young Nolan.
And with his two-handed delivery and the Belmo jersey, I wonder who his favorite bowler is.
Probably not Walter Ray.
No.
Just guessing. Walter's got to be a lot of bowlers' favorite. So, all right. Slow rolling in there. 4-pin.
I'll tell you what, the little guy throws it pretty good with this little guy throws it pretty good with two-handed delivery and keeping it online in front of him. Man, that's impressive.
How are the two-handers changing the way you guys talk about ball design? Is there any factors in that now? With obviously there's some new rules on center of grip, how you can lay things out. Does that change?
For the most part, for our side of things, it doesn't really change things, like you said, because the rules have changed with USBC and how you can lay out a ball for a two-hander. But I have to tell you, I was actually talking to some older kids earlier today, and really, the two-handed, it's amazing the number of kids, even the young ones all the way to the older ones, how much it's revolutionized the game. And, when you talk to the older players of the PBA Tour, like you just mentioned, Walter Ray, Walter actually has been working, he's actually pretty good at two-handed now.
Yeah, I've seen him do it.
And, because like his deal is, if you can't beat him, join him. But, evolution of bowling, and the example I use is actually, and Pete Wilbur, Pete actually, the reason he learned how to hook the ball is because of a guy named Mark Roth. Like he changed the game of bowling. Mm-hmm. Well, the modern day version of that is Jason Belmonte. He's changed the game, and it's caused kids and adults alike around the world to change their game and how they look at bowling. And hey, two-handed, you can hook it more. But with that, yeah, it's a little bit more strain on the body for the most part for some people, but some people it's more natural, and it's pretty cool to watch, actually.
Nick Verano is just the right of our feature pairs bowling Cameron Hurwitz out of New York. A couple New Yorkers bowling each other. We'll keep an eye on their scores. Let you know how that match is progressing. Yeah, I've been impressed. I've got to watch Brandon in front of us bowl a couple games. He throws it really good for a youngster, too. Very smooth.
Oh, absolutely. And even a kid that was just on this pair, the two-handed lefty,
Spencer
throws. Man, that kid throws it really good.
All right, Mako spare for young Jordan Ship. Jordan out of Pensacola, Florida. Put on a few miles to get here to suburban Chicago.
Yeah, there's, from the kids coast to coast, and we've got kids from other countries. We've got kids from Puerto Rico and stuff. I tell you what, this tournament's been unbelievable, and I gotta say here about Jordan, she's got some awesome pants. I mean, she's rocking the cool outfit right there.
She does,
cool.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't have to announce Nolan's shots because you got his fan base behind us every time. You know what he's doing.
We could probably just stick a microphone back there and let them.
He's got quite a following.
Give us a play-by-play. What's going on there?
I apologize to the people out there watching that didn't maybe introduce our guests quite properly. Chris Slemmer, official title for Storm Rotor Grip is?
I'm brand manager of Rotor Grip.
Okay. And I asked a question earlier, some of you guys might have picked up on about ball design. You get to work a lot with ball design, right? Work with Victor and Hank, and you guys are kind of the think tank out in Utah.
Yeah, my job description, what I do now after I was a tour rep on the PBA tour, and actually when I started at Storm 14 years ago, I was actually the full-time tour rep. So back then we had the PWBA was still in its heyday. We had the PBA tour and the senior tour. So I did the tour rep thing for a long time, and now that I'm in the office in charge of the Rotor Grip brand, what I do is actually design the Rotor Grip balls and bags and apparel and stuff like that. And yeah, when it comes to the R&D part of it, yeah, we have Victor, who's kind of our mad scientist downstairs when it comes to cores and stuff, and Hank's brilliant in some of the cores that he's designed. And so when I'm trying to fill gaps and piece it, basically, I like to say I'm kind of the guy that completes the puzzle. And like designing the newest Rotor balls that we just announced at Bowl Expo that are coming out next month, August 11th. The idea was not only creating Rotor balls that fill the Rotor brand, but also filling gaps on the Storm side as well. So it's a matter of kind of basically piecing the puzzle all together. So it's been fun making that transition from and I still go out and help on the tours. Obviously, like at the Queens, me and Hank and myself went out and we went and tour rep to the Queens because our guys, Dell Ballard, Jim Callahan, and Timmy Mack actually had to go to the summer swing. So there gets to be times where there's so many events going on all at once that we got to kind of spread ourselves out a little bit.
And that's a great problem to have with the PWA back in full swing. They're down in Lubbock starting tomorrow. Yeah. And you can watch them on Bowl TV through PBA's Extra Frame.
Yep. And actually, Hank's heading down there. Dell Ballard's going to be there, but Hank's actually catching a flight here shortly, and he's flying down to help work at Lubbock. So, we got quite a big crew here in Chicago for Junior Gold, the biggest Junior Gold in history. That was down on the Bowl TV down the other end earlier, and now that I've been around for such a long time, I can remember my first Junior Gold working for Storm. It was back at Winter Haven, Florida, and I remember going, and it was the biggest one to the date at that point in time, and they had 900 kids, and they're like, "Oh, we don't know what we're going to do beyond this," and here we are at 3,400.
Hang on.
Going, hold on, there's more. It's been pretty cool.
Yeah, over 3,400 qualifiers for this event this year.
Yeah.
And just over 3,100 were able to make the trip here to the Chicago area to compete in this event of all age groups. I think I heard the youngest was 6 years old. I think I heard earlier there's a 6-year-old bowling here. I don't know where he or she finished, but so you're talking 6 to 20. Quite a range in age groups, various arrays of talent levels. A lot of two-handers we're seeing now, and it looks like that's kind of the way the sport's starting to go with the youth, and however they can get the ball down the lane, repeating shots. There's is a way to get her done.
Absolutely. And the other thing, too, Friday night we had a matchmaker actually here at Stardust, and we had, about 500 kids come through in the 4 hours we were here. But the one thing that Ronald Page and I were talking about, there was quite a few left-handers as well. It's something that...
Well, of course, Rhino's counting the left-handers.
it was one of those things that actually caught my eye, because we broke ourselves up. We had 5 different teams. We each had sets of 10 lanes, and it just so happened that Rhino was in my group. And after the second group, I went over to him. I said, "Hey," I said, "have you noticed the number of left-handers?" And he goes, "Dude, I was just thinking the same thing." He goes, because he was looking at a couple of groups next to us, and there was a lot of left-handers. So that's a good sign too, because back in the day, it's one of those things that, like a lot of sports, that if you were left-handed, you were, most of the time your coach was right-handed, so they taught you how to bowl right-handed. Like, they didn't say, "Oh, you're lefty,
Right.
I can help you." Well, now there's plenty of left-handed help, and now we've on top of that, we've got two-handers on both right side and left side. So it's evolution of the game all the way
Yeah,
around.
Wesley
which is
Lowe, a Storm staffer,
yeah,
is what, 17, 8?
yeah, something like that.
A couple of regional titles.
Yeah,
Going to Wichita next year.
yep. And
Two-handed
that kid's-
lefty.
I mean, those kids, all those, they're 17, 18, but they're already well seasoned beyond their age. When they're, like Cameron Doyle, at the Team USA trials this past year, he's beating Chris Barnes and some of the other guys, and the tour guys are going, "Man, where'd these kids come from?" I go, "Oh, just wait, there's more."
Yeah, wait, there's more. Here they are.
We're just scratching the surface.
Yeah,
man.
we're showing them right now. Yeah, a lot of great young talent coming up through the ranks now.
Yeah, and we're watching like Nolan right here. I'll tell you what, this kid, two-handed, repeating shots, keeping the ball in play. If I had to guess, man, I wouldn't guess him older than maybe 10 years old.
That'd be my guess too. Maybe somebody out there that knows Nolan. I know somebody's watching.
I mean,
How old is Nolan?
It's,
And I also just saw a message there. He's throwing 16-pound equipment.
is he really? No way.
That's impressive as well.
Yeah, I can't even throw 16-pound equipment.
So we've got a 18-pin match going into the 7th frame over on the girls' side. Jordan up just a little bit over Lara Kurt in this 2-game total pins. And 40 pins difference through 7 frames on the boys' side.
There's young Jordan there, wipes the deck, put a strike up. We got little Laura here. That's
A lot of people
Pretty
asking
good
about
shot.
Cameron Hurwitz and Nick Verano. Looks like we're pretty even right now, halfway through the game number 1.
Yeah, it looks like Nick's up by a few, but both have a mark up in the 5th there. So
There you go. Looks like he's at 11, according to Amy Richards. So, and the youngest bowler competing here was 5 years old.
that is awesome.
That's
By the
amazing.
way,
So it means I need to get my 4-year-old. I need to get her ball drilled up and get her here next year.
I was saying you better start practicing and get that figured out there.
We better.
Oh, huge double right there.
We are thankful for all the fans out there watching. Over 300 loyal viewers been watching for the last couple rounds here of the U12 group. It's great to see some good support in the chat being utilized there. If you got any questions for Chris Schlemmer, brand manager for Storm and Roto, please fire away. He's here to answer any questions you might have about their products, old and new.
Absolutely.
Chris, I don't know if I ever had you in the booth or not. I can't remember if we did last year, but I always like to ask favorite bowling ball of all time. Maybe not one you got to throw, but maybe even one that you designed. I don't know.
Well, it's been, I've been with the company for a long time. That's the scary part. We're just celebrating the 30 years with Storm, and I've been there. I've been with the company for 14 of them, and there's been some unbelievable balls over. Not only just our company, but all companies in general. But I would have to say that one of the all-time favorites for myself, just in general, and I know it goes back a ways, but probably the one that changed it for not only myself but for everyone was, the eraser being what the first ball was sent in it. It was one of those deals. I can remember back in my, I was actually drilling balls at a pro shop back then, and when this whole thing, the storm craze kind of kicked up, like, oh, they got this ball and it's got a smell to it, and I'm like, no way, what is that? And then being able to throw those, and then obviously when I started tour repping in 2001, we still had, those were kind of the back end of the eraser and some of the other new balls that were coming out at the time. But we've had some great balls. Now in comparison to the road grip side, I've got to give props to my man Hank Boomershine for his creation of the nucleus cord that's been in the cell. The cell really put rotor grip back on the map per se. Because the big thing actually was funny. I had a couple times this week, parents and kids, they know about the rotor grip brand, but most people don't realize that rotor grip's been around since 1955. And that Storm actually acquired it. Bill bought rotor grip in 1997. So when Hank designed the nucleus core, we're putting a cell, it's been the #1 selling rotor grip ball of all time. And now we've been able to, bring that core back, and hypercell skid here of recent. Still actually in the line right now, and so those two were definitely in the good.
Yeah, I hadn't thrown that core until I got a hypercell last year, and that immediately jumped into my top 5 of all time. The way it just blends out the pattern, so smooth for an aggressive ball. It's very smooth.
Yeah, it just rolls and keeps rolling. And the funny thing was, one of the first questions Pete asked me when we got here, he goes, I think I don't know if you're going to Minnesota in the next tour stop. He goes, well, we're going to have hypercells on the truck, right? Because he just won the Senior US Open using hypercell. And then the week after that, Brian LeClaire won the Senior Tour Stop using hypercell. And anyway, the PBA 50, those guys are using the stronger balls because they're using a lot of oil out there. Completely opposite of what we got going here at Junior Gold, because these kids, we've got a lot of the lower end balls. We've got a lot of urethane balls go down the lane, even for these little guys and girls. You'll see right over here on with Jordan and Laura, they've got natural. I mean, they're using the urethane balls, so it's kind of cool to see the kids under this age understanding conditions, and to keep the ball in play I need to do this, or they're kind of building their own little strategy and game plans.
Yeah, and, the slower ball speeds for these younger bowlers are going to go to maybe less aggressive equipment.
Yeah, I mean, this pattern, I believe this round, it's I want to say, I think they went with a 39-footer for these guys.
Yeah, I never did see. Wes and I started talking about that, but we got sidetracked, which happens a lot when you sit here in the booth.
Yeah.
The conversations go in lots of different directions, unfortunately.
Yeah, you start talking about something, and all of a sudden you're like, ooh, squirrel. Ooh, that's shiny. Check that out. Yeah. But, I believe it's 39 feet. And, for a lot of kids, and that's what earlier when I was doing the broadcast down the other end, some of the older kids, it was funny, Game 3 down there earlier, the girls on the pair they had the cameras on, like their low game was like, I want to say like 185 or 187. And one girl shot 250, while on the pair directly next to them were the boys. And the boys had a couple 120s and a 140, and their high game was like 205. So the girl, it just goes to show that the girls keeping their angles more direct in front of them.
Right.
A lot of them play the lanes a little bit straighter, and keeps them out of trouble. So
Lara opened with 142 on the boys' side here, a 28-pin lead for young Nolan. Nick Verano is only up 5 and just split in the 8th. So that match is just going back and forth. A low-scoring affair there for young,
looks like, and he also had
Nick.
a split there in the 7th too. So he's got split 7th and 8th. So that's definitely slowing things down a little bit for him over there. And I believe Nolan over here. Yep, Nolan actually made a ball change.
And moved right.
and went. Yeah, he's going a little bit more direct, and trying to get it. Looks like he's struggling with feel and getting his hands in the right spot. So looks like he's getting some assistance from a couple friends back here on the bleachers, and kind of the directive of, hey, stay with the shot, keep your. Like Nolan came back walking, his hand got around it instead of staying behind it as much as he needed to.
And the knowledge level that I'm watching of these young bowlers is pretty impressive. You're seeing, just watching, I kind of always keep an eye on how they interact with their coach or their parents or who's ever here watching them. And like you said, the hand motions or the shaking, I don't know, it's pretty interesting to me how smart knowledgeable these kids are on how to play this game here today.
Yeah, it's
we didn't have that 20 years ago, right? We just threw the ball and grabbed a pack of M&Ms and waited for our next turn.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure it's. It's even. The funny part is, if some of these kids were able to hang out with like a tour rep like myself or Del Ballard or Hank or whoever, any of us guys that were coaching guys and girls on the PBA tour, PWBA tour. Mm-hmm. These kids, they're not too far off the feel, and that's been kind of the thing too. Talking to some of the kids, these kids have already developed the feel, like you said, of, oh, that was a bad shot, I did this with my hand. Man, when I was a kid and got into bowling when I was 14, I couldn't tell you what was going on for the first year.
And I didn't care.
Exactly. You're like,
Hey, it's Saturday morning. We're not having to do chores. We're inside the bowling alley having a good time with our friends.
Right, and it's good to see these kids that are dedicated to our sport. And again, like we talk about, this is the future, and it's.
Oh, a little mixture.
Yeah.
Look at that little fist pump. He said, I got that one.
He's feeling it right now.
Now, see, he shook his head, though. See, that wasn't a good shot, but I'll take it. It's exactly what he's thinking.
Yeah, these guys both with Spire strike up as we get into the second game of the two-game match. Within, what we got here? 18 pins. 19 pins. Or no.
Yeah, looks like he switched to a burgundy hammer. I don't know if that's the original or the whole Reacta thing, newer version.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, and gets the thin spin, and as you can, like you said, the cheering section behind it is, the crowd goes wild.
The crowd goes wild. They're into it.
That's awesome. And so it looks like they got a lead change over there with Cameron. With Nick went open there, so. It's still a tight match.
Yeah, 2-game total pins. A lot of time yet to come back or extend your lead, depending on what position you are in your match. And we're watching Brandon and Nolan, and they're even now through 3 frames, but Nolan has that 28-pin advantage starting this game.
And how cool is it here that little Laura on the back of her shirt, class of 2021.
Yeah, Wes and I were talking about that this morning. I did the math on my youngest daughter, and she's going to be the class of 2033.
Holy shnikes.
Yeah, that was a nice little wake-up call this morning when we read her shirt. We're thinking, wow, she's young. Then I started thinking, yeah, she's not that young.
Yeah, and Laura there catches the double, and as I can tell by her jersey there, she's got the Chicago Training Center on her sleeves, which means that I'm sure she goes down and gets some practice time in there in Florida. Oh, great shot there by Jordan. Tell you what, this match is getting tighter too.
Yeah, Laura had a 42-pin lead coming into this match. So it looks like watching our scores, they're not adding up the grand total until there's a fill ball there. So those 2 strikes I don't think are added in. So it's a little misleading.
Gotcha.
I mentioned they're still trying to figure out these scores because they're all a little bit different. Nolan now with the turkey. We all know what comes after the turkey. No, can't do it.
Dressing?
Yeah.
Let's see. Turkey, there's pumpkin pie, there's green bean casserole.
Now we're getting hungry. See?
Oh, yeah. See?
You know, when we wondered what you and I were going to talk about earlier, I told one of your other strong guys, let's talk about food, and that's where it ended up.
Perfect. Yeah, I've always... Hey, when you're my size, you can't be shy about food. And an open frame there is chops the sleeper there. And
Still all right, though. Brandon also opened, so it kind of evened it out there. Nick Verano can strike now on his field ball to tie in their first game versus
Brandon throws
Cameron.
a great shot right there, puts 10 back, and there's definitely some fight still in him. He doesn't want to give this one up.
He's got a pretty sound game too. If I've been watching him most of the day now, and he's pretty solid. Posts a lot of shots. Pretty simple. Not a super high backswing. No six step, no two-hander.
Back there for the first of the matches, you should have heard some of the older kids that just came down from the other end. They're like, and these guys are the 12 and under. And the one kid looked to his buddy. He goes, "Man, I don't think I can beat these guys."
No,
I mean, it's very promising seeing the skill level and the talent that's coming in the youth movement here. That's for sure. Spare up, great shot there. Two good shots, can't be.
The next group of Storm staffers out here right now on the lanes in front of us.
Absolutely.
And Roto.
Yep, and that is the absolute fact, because there is evolution of the game, and we look at our staffers. We've actually talked about it in house. Guys like Pete and Norm aren't getting any younger. But we signed guys like Wesley and some of the other younger guys we've got coming aboard, and even the girls too. Our girls are getting older. So this is like you said, we're looking at the future of Storm and Roto Group staffers eventually down the road.
And Nick Verano and Cam Hurwitz actually tied 147 apiece. Cam starts with a strike, and Nick answers with a 10-pin. Nolan still hanging on to his lead.
And just looking down at some of the other matches here. All these kids that have earned their way here to the top 8, and both the boys and girls, definitely well deserved. The talent level is very competitive.
That's what I like to say. I don't like to see any match be a runaway or a blowout. You always want to see them be good, close matches, perform up in the 9th, 10th frame, whatever it is, make the shots.
And again, like we were talking about, like you mentioned 20 years ago, how things were. Man, I couldn't imagine, growing up in the greater St. Louis Metro East area as a kid. We had travel league and tournaments and stuff. But we didn't bowl as many games as these kids have bowled over the last few days. I mean, this is a grueling format on top of it,
Yeah, they bowled 12 games of 4 games a day, and then 4 games this morning. And now this is their second set of matches here today. So this is game number 8 so far since 7:30 this morning. They all got up early, got here 6:30 to get practicing, get checked in. So it's been a long day already for these competitors. And just a reminder, everybody in the chat, we will keep things positive in the chat, or the chat will be disabled, pretty simply. This is about growing the sport and sharing what we have here at Junior Gold today. So no negative comments about any bowlers. Thank you very much. Big shot for Nolan.
Nolan catching a double there. And
can you imagine if Nolan bowled against Nicholas? Because they got the 2 biggest cheering sections right now. That could be an extremely loud match.
And it could be. I don't know who's in which bracket here. Because this is double elimination, correct? I think
they're on opposite sides of the bracket now, I believe. And this all culminates tomorrow afternoon on CBS Sports. They're setting up the truck right now outside. I want to go sneak a look in there. I haven't had a chance to see a live truck like that, so I'm going to do some techie snooping after we get done here.
If you've not been a part of it, knowing JT and some of the guys, actually JT, the one producer that's actually with the CBS crew, he was producing back when I started out on the ladies tour when I was doing player services.
Okay.
And so JT's been filming bowling for years, and yeah, it's pretty cool to even just I'll tell you what, the evolution of not only just bowling but the evolution of TV trucks, even all the cool gadgets, gizmos. When you get in there, you may never come out. We
I
might
might
have
not.
to send a search party out after you.
I might just want to stay. I mean, you know, I could pull up my Nissan Altima next to them and show them all my equipment in there. They might just run over top of me with their big semi full of gear. So 189 max score now for Brandon Banta, 46 pins down. So this match is over. Nolan Blessing will stay alive in this tournament. Brandon will be eliminated, and he will take home $500 in his scholarship fund for his efforts finishing the 7th and 8th spot. There's still nothing to be sad about that.
That is awesome.
I know if I was mom and dad, I'd be happy. You get a little college money tucked away there.
Yeah, and I'm
And
sure.
still has another 6+ years of competing.
I was going to say, I'm guessing a lot of these kids already have their smart accounts already filling up. Oh, and Jordan, just a pinch on the inside and big fours right there. That match right there is a close one.
Yeah, Laura was up 42. So it's let's see, 42, 18, 16. Yeah, 50 pins. So it's going to be, I think they actually bowled on the wrong lanes. So the scores are incorrect, and they changed the names. I think is what happened there. So it's a little confusing watching their totals, unless I wrote down the wrong score, which I could have easily done.
It looks like, yeah, Jordan's got 271 going into the 9th. Of course, cumulative over the 2. As we watch young Nolan here finish it out, and again, a solid performance by these two guys here on 69 to 70. And
Yeah, it looks like I did have it written down wrong, because that is a very close match. And young Laura there, even a 10 pin, comes right back and grabs her spare ball immediately, and she's going after
like,
it.
yep, I got this.
Yeah, not messing around. No fear whatsoever.
Nope.
To be young again, huh?
Yeah.
Not
that
letting anything phase
That
it.
is the fact.
Yeah, she's got it.
And looks like over there on the other pair, still a pretty tight match. with
It
the
is
boys
pretty
right
close.
next
Couple
door.
opens for both the bowlers between Cam and Nick. Yeah, we are at Stardust Bowl in Addison, Illinois. We've got Chris Schlemmer, brand manager for Stormer Road, joining me in the booth. Craig Elliott from Michigan Bowler TV, bringing you the U12 action. We just saw Nolan Blessing advance, and Brandon Banta will be eliminated from this tournament. But still a great finish, finishing 7th, 8th place out of a couple hundred young bowlers here. I know he's probably a little upset now, but you know what? Learn from it, be happy. Great showing.
Great.
And we are
job by
watching
Brandon
Jordan
there.
and Laura
Absolutely.
and their elimination match as well.
And Jordan there, she catches a strike up in the 9th, but now through the face. So this match is not over yet. Anything is possible.
No, this is very close. So the totals you see on the far right of your screen are correct for these two bowlers. I had my numbers crossed. So this is a very tight match. Big spare for Jordan, an attempt to make Laura get up and mark, and she misses.
Well, that I think that seals the deal. Yeah, she's got a spare up there in the 9th.
So she needs, what, 5? Yep, 5 pins on this shot will give her 296 total for 2, I believe.
And we got a little bit of a change there in the Cameron Nicholas match.
Yeah, I think as soon as we watch these young girls finish up, we will turn the camera, give you a little bonus coverage. Not sure how great of a picture we'll have. Might be a tripod in the way. But we can try to catch a little bit of Cameron and Nicholas's match. They've got 5 frames to go. The other 2 age groups are not quite ready to start yet. You'll be able to watch the U16 and U20 also live on Bowl TV very shortly. So you've still got a lot more live streaming bowling action coming your way here on Bowl TV from Stardust Lanes in Addison. 84 Lane Center, and it was packed wall to wall with people for the last 4 days.
I'll tell you what, when I walked in, not being here before, we came in, I think, Thursday, and I was stunned when I walked, because came in down by the pro shop, and I'm like, I kept looking and looking. I'm like, how many lanes
Keep
are
going.
there? And I happened to be the manager. He's like, oh, we got 84. I'm like, holy cow, that's awesome.
I was talking with a mechanic during the break trying to decide. I don't know. I know I've been in a 64 lane center, 80 lane center, but I'm not sure I've seen one bigger than 84. But I haven't been to any of the ones out in Vegas. How big is South Point?
South Point's actually it's actually a split house in the new arena they built. So they've only got, I'm trying to think what they've got, 30 or 40 on each side.
So
but
maybe
as far
80.
as 84 straight in a row, yeah, this is one of the bigger centers. It's like second or third in the United States, actually. I will tell you, on my trips to Japan, it was there's what is it? Grand Bowl that is actually 100 and I can't remember if they're 106 or 108 lanes straight, which that's a big center. But then there was another center that we visited in our travels over there that's actually 3 stories that has like 120 something lanes. So kind of cool.
Yeah, that's it's in Chicago. Remember, we were talking suburban Chicago. 84 lane center. Real estate is not cheap here, so to be able to stay in business with all the bowling centers we see closing across the country, great job by the guys here at Stardust.
That's a fact. That's a fact too. And talking to the manager, they do have the one night he said they have, I think, 70 something teams of 5-man. So they do have one night of the week that it's almost a full house.
Maybe a good jackpot for a high game there.
No kidding.
So we did get a little camera angle. We'll watch these last 4 frames, a little bonus coverage. Nick Verano and Cameron Hurwitz, both of these young bowlers from New York. There's young Cameron.
Cameron with the
For a kid with
strike
no
up.
fear. That was a solid professional bowler shot right
You
there.
know, that's the funny thing you're saying, these kids, and these are the 12 and under. I mean, some of the older kids are actually showing more nerves down there than these little ones. And just like throw a shot like, hey, I've done this. I've been here, done that. And that's actually a good sign because they're living in a moment and from the aspect of it's bowling and they know they have to throw shots. So that's kind of cool.
Looks like on the girls' side, Kaylee Chanel will be eliminated in the 7th, 8th spot. Also going to receive $500 into her smart account.
Yeah, like I said before, Cameron's got the cheering section. Actually,
Good
a
double.
lot of these little guys do. So
That match is pretty much dead even. 95 in the 5th for Nick's with a spare up on the 6th. 77 in the 5th for Cam with a double. It's going to come right down the 10th frame.
I have to agree with
This is where it gets fun.
you. Yep.
And you're going to hear this place get pretty loud because this is looks like the tightest match going, and the second to last match still alive here. 6-pin, or is there something else up there with it?
No, it looks like a 6-pin only. So again, and watching just before Nicholas stepped up for that shot, he was looking at the scoreboard. He's adding numbers in his head, so hopefully he's not paying too close attention to that and can step back and regroup a little bit and throw some quality shots here down the stretch.
Just enough.
All you have to do is touch it. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's times where you can touch a spare and it doesn't knock it over.
I've seen that happen before.
I've done that before. That's no fun.
Dave Kaufman, we were talking a little bit during the break there. Cam has a bit of a blood issue, so he's wearing a mask just to make sure he doesn't pick up any type of virus or bug while he's here traveling. Looked like a better shot from Nick. He kind of stayed down on it, but then 4-9.
Well, that's a tough break right there. It was, like you said, he stayed with the shot. It seemed execution-wise it was a better shot, but unfortunately, with the lanes transitioning and starting to break down a little bit, we've already had. You got to figure this is game 4 now, so the lanes are starting to. Oil's starting to move around a little bit, and we've got. You got to factor in the amount of people and the heating and air conditioning and all the other things, and sometimes you just don't make quite enough adjustment ahead of time.
Yeah, the U16 and U20 will be up next on the other 2 channels we've got set up on Bowl TV. So keep an eye on the YouTube. Just keep it open. You'll see when they go live. And I think they're using the same pattern we are on because they are now into match play. But don't quote me on that. I don't have their
I think it's
information in front of me.
That, talking to some of the kids that advanced earlier, they didn't know yet. I guess that when they have their roll call, they hand them the pattern on a piece of paper.
You know what? Actually, I don't think they're into match play. They have one more set of.
They do have a qualifying round.
They have another qualifying round because
yeah.
there's more kids in those divisions. Yep. So yeah, they're not quite into match play down there for the other 2 divisions. So we'll have coverage from the Storm guys. Randy Peterson and crew will be down there doing some live streaming for the U16, and Lucas Wiseman and Aaron Smith will be doing some work for Bowl TV on the U20s. And I'm going to guess you'll hear Mr. Slemmer jumping in, maybe back and forth with both those crews, sharing some other insight as well.
Yeah, we have some other guys here from the office here sitting next to us. We got Gary Holzenberg, who's our director of marketing on the Storm side. We also have Dave Sims is in the house. He's the president of Storm. So yeah, we've got some other guys from Utah here to shed some light on some things. Right there, looks like Cameron catches the spare. That's still a tight match, actually.
So who stayed back at the office? Because I'll be honest, when we got here yesterday for a meeting, it's just me, and you guys brought a whole crew with you.
We brought the entourage, let's put it that way. And actually, Craig, that was one of those deals that once we won the bid for Junior Gold, we knew that we wanted to make a difference and do what we can, because we see this is the future of bowling right here. So we brought out a lot of us has, like I'd mentioned, my past with Junior Gold goes all the way back to Winter Haven, Florida, and Gary's been doing a few Junior Golds here in the last few years, and with Hank giving seminars, and we just wanted to make sure we kind of covered all bases and really let everyone know that, hey, we're here. Storm is the Bowlers Company, and we're here to help and do what we can. And it's been a good experience for us as well, seeing different things, and there's stuff that we're taking notes as well, so we can prepare ourselves for next year in Indy, and also, like we were talking earlier, with when it comes to product, there's some other things that we need to take in consideration for youth bowlers, so.
Yeah, and to see what Storm has done as sponsor. Is this the first year Storm was the title sponsor at Junior Gold, I believe?
Yeah, this is our first year, and we have a multi-year deal. We are sponsoring next year as well, so and potentially, hopefully, years to come after that. But for sure, this year and next year. So,
so Nick Verano, Cam Hurwitz through 8 frames. It's a 4-pin match, and Cam spared in the 9th. Nick going a little bit wide right, but still a makeable spare, 125. So he will still have, if he converts this, he'll be down 4 pins going to 10th frame. So Cam cannot be shut out, but it depends on what kind of pressure Nick can put him on in the 10th. And that's as far as we can get the camera. We've got a beam just to the right of us, which would be in the way, so you can just see the bowlers' release point and pin action.
And, and
you guys have been here in town. I'm sorry, I jumped on you there a little bit, but since like last Thursday, doing the matchmakers, the day in the park, working with these bowlers. So it is a team effort, and it's great to see the whole company come out and be a part of it, because there's PWA going on in Lubbock, so I know you've got some crews there, and Hank is just going everywhere.
Yeah, and as those of us that are doing the travel part of it, we've got the industry trade shows coming up, so a few of us are going to be on the road for the next basically a couple months with trade shows, and then like myself and Wes Malott and Stu Williams, we're actually heading to Japan the middle end of August to go do some seminars and coaching with kids over there. We actually are tied in with a group of under age 22, and there's like 400 kids that we have to go do a presentation and some coaching with. So
There's our good friend Victor Varner joining us. Good afternoon, Victor. Out of Ohio. So Nick Verano missed that spare. He needs to make this one. All right. I think he knew it right away.
Yep.
So he can shoot 169. That would force 7 count or better, I believe. 7-1 if we strike here for Nick. So counting is big. We've seen a lot of splits, a lot of washouts. Oh, 6. So just 2 pins on this next shot for Cam Hurwitz, and he will eliminate Nick Verano from this event.
Yeah, and I think it was one of those deals too, looking like you were talking about emotion and keeping things in check. And Nick got a little frazzled there.
Yeah, I think it just got to him a little bit.
And he started scoreboard watching, and all the while Cameron's going up there, going through his routine. You know, look at him right now. He does not scoreboard watching. He's like, oh, I'm over here. Going to go through my, throw the best shot I can and see what happens. So that's a pretty good pitch right there. And he gives it the PDW cross shot.
Yeah, we didn't quite get that in camera, but
That's
he's
awesome.
all of about 4 foot,
Yeah.
nothing, 100
He's
pounds,
about the
not
same-
even 100 pounds.
He's almost the same size as Pete, actually.
Just about. He might be a little bit taller than Pete.
He might be. But I was actually just noticing a little while ago, he's got the golf glove just like Pete, so
Yeah.
that's pretty cool right there.
Awesome.
I'm guessing if we were to ask him who his favorite bowler was, I'm guessing he may say Pete Weber.
I
Just
can
a
tell
hunch.
you.
As we hear I don't know if you guys can hear there at home, the crowd back behind it, there's definitely a buzz and there's excitement and there's emotions all the way through, so that's awesome.
Here we go. Cameron Hurwitz out of Rochester, New York.
There's a 4-pin.
High game at 279, high series 772. His favorite bowler is Norm Duke.
Really?
He bowls out of Clover Lanes. So that brings it into our bonus coverage there. That is the final match. Keep an eye on juniorgold.bowl.com for bracket updates. And we will sign off here on the U12 stream, but keep an eye on the U15. I'm sorry, I was saying 16. It's actually U15 and U20 matches, which should be starting here. I don't believe it's going to be too much longer. So you'll be able to hear Chris Slimmer. Thanks, Chris, for sitting with us here for this round.
Thanks, Craig. Thanks for all you do for bowling as well.
Hey, my pleasure. And I hope you all enjoyed what we were able to share with you. And tune in to Bowl TV for the rest of the afternoon to catch some more action. And with that, we'll see you all tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Central Time for a couple more rounds of U12 action. Have a great rest of your afternoon, everybody.